Right now, a flesh-eating parasite is parked in your driveway, violently vaporizing your future wealth while masquerading as freedom. You haven't bought a vehicle. You've signed a financial suicide pact. Listen to the very end to shatter this trap, or prepare to bleed your life energy forever. Look closely at your bank account. Right now, there is a silent, flesh-eating parasite draining your life's energy, disguising itself as absolute necessity. For decades, the mainstream financial industry has looked you dead in the eye and fed you a mathematically bankrupt fairy tale. They promised that your lack of millions is the direct result of a $5 morning latte or a streaming subscription. They told you to sacrifice your small joys, and miraculously, generational wealth would manifest. It is a lie. It is financial malpractice designed to keep you obsessing over pennies while hundreds of thousands of dollars violently hemorrhage from your future. They gave you a placebo to make you feel in control of a leaky faucet while a torpedo was actively ripping through the hull of your ship. If you want to know what is truly keeping you awake at night, staring at a ceiling of debt, you need to hear this truth. At Money Glow Up 02 welcomes you to the brutal, unvarnished reality of your finances. Before we expose the monster in your driveway and change the way you look at money forever, please hit that subscribe button to support the channel. Your subscription is the vital heartbeat that fuels our motivation to keep bringing you these hard-hitting financial truths. Let us strip away the comfortable delusions. If you genuinely want to stop suffocating on the illusion of paper wealth and build undeniable, tangible net worth, you must stop playing in the sandbox. You have to confront the macro categories. In the architecture of your lifetime income, there are exactly 5 pillars that will consume the absolute vast majority of your capital: housing, transportation, taxes, utilities, and food. Everything else, the coffees, the occasional vacations, the clothes, is merely statistical noise. Win these 5, and you win the game of financial independence. Lose them, and no amount of extreme couponing will save you from grinding away at a desk until the very day your heart stops beating. Yet, lurking among these 5 pillars is one silent assassin. It masquerades as freedom. It is sold to you as a rite of passage, but in reality, it is public enemy number 1 to your wealth: your car. We are not just talking about an irritating monthly payment. We are examining a deeply ingrained societal sickness. It is a psychological plague driven by a toxic obsession with manufactured status. You are trading your finite hours on this earth to purchase a rapidly depreciating hunk of metal and plastic, all to signal a level of wealth you do not actually possess. You do this to impress strangers who do not care about you, while you sit paralyzed in gridlock traffic on your way to a job you likely barely tolerate. The sociology of the modern automobile is profoundly toxic. Aggressive marketing campaigns and social media algorithms have weaponized your deepest insecurities, brainwashing you into believing your intrinsic human worth is somehow inextricably tied to the badge glittering on your steering wheel. They sell you the open road, but what you are actually signing for are the heavy, rusting chains of indentured servitude. Right now, we are witnessing a terrifying liquidity blood clot in the consumer credit system. Look around you. Auto loan interest rates are soaring at suffocating multi-year highs, yet a record-breaking percentage of consumers are willfully committing to car payments exceeding $1,000 every single month. $1,000 a month for an asset mathematically guaranteed to rot. Dealerships slap on egregious market adjustments, and consumers eagerly sign their financial death warrants, blinded by the intoxicating scent of new leather. Understand this deeply. This is not a purchase. It is a financial suicide pact. You are taking out a high-interest loan on a machine that begins to vaporize your net worth the exact millisecond its tires touch public pavement. You are choking on cash, willingly suffocating under the crushing weight of an asset that actively, relentlessly cannibalizes your future. To truly grasp the magnitude of this financial suicide pact, we must pull back the curtain on the silent math that is secretly draining your future. Depreciation is a sterile, academic word that completely fails to capture the violence of what is actually happening to your money behind the scenes. Imagine walking out of a bank with $50,000 in cash, throwing 20% of it into a blazing fire the moment your foot touches the sidewalk, and then continuing to burn a handful of $100 bills every single month for the next 5 years. You would be institutionalized for such erratic, self-destructive behavior. Yet, this is exactly what you do when you purchase a brand new vehicle. You are exchanging hard-earned liquidity, money you traded your precious life energy to acquire, for a heavy anchor that begins to sink the moment it leaves the artificial lighting of the showroom floor. But the bleeding does not stop at the edge of the depreciation curve. The true horror of this transaction lies in the terrifying ghost of opportunity cost. We as a society are so obsessively focused on what we are paying in the present moment that we remain completely blind to what we are permanently giving up. Every single dollar you pour into a depreciating piece of metal is a dollar you have violently robbed from your own compounding wealth machine. If you take that staggering $1,000 monthly car payment, along with the inflated insurance premiums and specialized maintenance costs, and redirect it into a basic, unglamorous index fund mirroring the S500 for a decade, you are not just saving $12,000 a year. You are planting the seeds of hundreds of thousands of dollars in future, untouchable net worth. When you finance a luxury vehicle or a massive truck you do not mathematically need, you are not merely buying transportation. You are literally paying the dealership with your future freedom. You are trading years of early retirement, the ability to walk away from a toxic boss without hesitation, and the absolute financial security of your unborn children, all for the fleeting dopamine rush of that new car smell. You are voluntarily cannibalizing the financial moat that could protect your family during a crisis, choosing instead to park your wealth in the driveway, where it sits idle, rusting, and losing value with every passing second. It is a profoundly tragic exchange of eternal peace of mind for temporary, hollow applause from people who will not be there when your bills come due. This devastating mathematical reality is carefully hidden from you by an industry specifically designed to keep you trapped in a perpetual cycle of predatory debt. The modern automobile dealership is not in the business of selling cars. They are in the highly lucrative business of selling financing. They have masterfully weaponized human psychology, spending billions of dollars training you to ignore the catastrophic total cost of the vehicle and focus entirely on the grand illusion of the monthly payment. You sit in a pressurized office while a finance manager types on a calculator, stretching out loan terms to 72, 84, or even a mind-numbing 96 months, just to make that shiny piece of metal technically fit into your bleeding monthly budget. This is not affordability. This is a beautifully disguised financial straitjacket. You are signing a legally binding contract to pay exorbitant, compounding interest on an asset that is rapidly rotting away, meaning you will inevitably end up owing more than the machine is even worth within the first year. We have culturally normalized this terrifying state of being completely underwater, treating negative equity as if it is just a standard part of the adult experience. And just when you begin to feel the crushing weight of this bad math, the industry swoops in with the ultimate psychological trap: the trade-in upgrade. They convince you that your perfectly functional 3-year-old car is suddenly obsolete, lacking the newest safety sensors or slightly larger touchscreen displays, and they graciously offer to seamlessly roll your outstanding debt into a brand new, even larger loan. You become a willing prisoner on a hamster wheel of infinite amortization, endlessly chasing a horizon of ownership you will never actually reach. You are renting your lifestyle from a bank at a premium markup. You do not actually own that vehicle sitting proudly in your driveway. The bank owns it, and through that aggressively leveraged piece of collateral, they own you. They own your tired Monday mornings. They own your baseline stress levels, and they dictate exactly how much abuse you must tolerate at your workplace just to keep the repo man from towing away your fabricated dignity in the middle of the night. Leasing is no better. It is simply subscribing to poverty, ensuring you perpetually pay the steepest part of the depreciation curve while having absolutely zero equity to show for years of hard-earned payments. The system is rigged to drain you dry while making you feel like a VIP customer, smiling at you as you sign away the prime earning years of your entire life. Escaping this beautifully engineered trap requires more than just a strict budget. It demands a fundamental rebellion against the societal norms that equate your personal human value with a shiny hood ornament. You have to ruthlessly and permanently detach your fragile ego from the metal you drive. A vehicle has exactly one utilitarian purpose in the grand scheme of your life: to transport your physical body from point A to point B safely and reliably. It is a tool, not a rolling billboard for your self-worth or a desperate plea for societal validation. The path to genuine, untouchable wealth begins the exact day you decide to embrace the profound liberation of driving a paid-off, mechanically sound, aesthetically uninspiring used car. When you stop caring about the fleeting judgments of strangers sitting next to you at a red light, you instantly strip the consumer matrix of its absolute power over your mind and your wallet. Buying a vehicle that is 3 to 5 years old, letting someone else blindly absorb the catastrophic initial depreciation, paying in cash, or taking a very short, low-interest loan and keeping that car until the wheels literally threaten to fall off, is one of the most powerful wealth-building strategies in human existence. A paid-off, slightly dinged car in your driveway is not a symbol of failure or stagnation. It is a massive middle finger to a system meticulously designed to keep you perpetually broke. It is the ultimate invisible shield protecting your capital. By consciously stepping off the relentless upgrade treadmill, you instantly free up massive, life-altering amounts of cash flow. This is the precise inflection point where basic financial survival transforms into aggressive empire building. You take those diverted funds, the thousands of dollars you were blindly throwing into the blazing furnace of auto debt and excessive depreciation, and you ruthlessly funnel them into income-producing assets. You buy real estate that appreciates and generates rent. You buy broad market equities that pay you dividends while you sleep. You buy back your own time, minute by minute, hour by hour. You forcefully transition your identity from being a passive consumer who pays interest to an empowered owner who collects it. You stop funding the dealership's glass showroom and start funding your own escape velocity. This is not about living a life of absolute deprivation. It is about recognizing that a car is a depreciating utility and deploying your hard-earned capital into vehicles that actually drive you toward financial independence instead of driving you straight into the poorhouse. When you finally stop bleeding your vital capital into the asphalt, you unlock a dimension of human freedom that no luxury vehicle could ever simulate. We must fundamentally and radically redefine what true status looks like in the modern world.
True wealth is completely invisible to the naked eye. It is not the roaring, aggressive engine echoing through a concrete parking garage, and it is most certainly not the designer badge glittering on a leather steering wheel. True wealth is the profound, immovable silence of a mind at total peace. It is the absolute zero-gravity sensation of having no consumer debt hanging like a guillotine over your neck. It is the quiet, unwavering confidence of knowing that if your entire industry collapsed tomorrow, or if a medical emergency struck your home, your family would not miss a single meal or face the gut-wrenching terror of a foreclosure notice. This is the legacy you are supposed to be building, but it absolutely requires the rare courage to look poor on the outside while you are quietly getting incredibly rich on the inside. The ultimate flex in this life is not throwing the heavy keys of a heavily financed Porsche onto a restaurant table hoping someone notices. The ultimate flex is owning 100% of your Tuesday afternoons. It is the absolute power to look a toxic employer in the eye and say no to unreasonable demands that do not serve your soul, simply because you have the liquid assets to back up your boundaries. Look out your window right now at the machine parked outside your home. Stare at it. Ask yourself if the fleeting, hollow validation it provides is truly worth the permanent sacrifice of your financial sovereignty. Ask yourself if you are willing to trade another decade of your finite existence grinding in a cubicle just to keep the bank happy. It is time to wake up, sell the illusion, buy your freedom, and start treating your life energy with the profound respect it deserves. The road to generational wealth is not paved with luxury goods. It is paved with the brutal sacrifices of the ego and the relentless accumulation of assets that pay you to exist. The math is undeniably clear, and the trap is perfectly visible once you wipe the marketing propaganda from your eyes. It is entirely up to you whether you will remain a captive passenger in the back seat of your own life, perpetually paying the toll, or if you will finally take the wheel and drive yourself toward absolute, unshakable freedom. The true cost of a brand new vehicle extends far beyond its heavily marketed monthly payment. It is a direct, violent assault on your future financial freedom. Society and predatory dealerships have masterfully normalized a continuous cycle of compounding debt, manipulating consumers into trading their most precious asset, their life energy, for rapidly depreciating metal. By hyper-focusing on making monthly payments fit into a bleeding budget, we remain entirely blind to the catastrophic opportunity cost. The thousands of dollars lost to exorbitant interest, steep depreciation, and inflated insurance could have been planted in income-producing assets to generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in compounding wealth. Escaping this beautifully engineered financial straitjacket requires a profound rebellion. You must ruthlessly detach your personal ego from what you drive. A car is simply a utilitarian tool to safely transport you from point A to point B, not a rolling billboard for societal validation. When you choose to drive a reliable, paid-off used car instead of endlessly financing a shiny status symbol, you stop funding the bank's wealth and start funding your own escape velocity. This newly freed cash flow can be aggressively weaponized to buy index funds, real estate, and ultimately, your own time. True wealth is entirely invisible to the naked eye. It is not a luxury badge. It is the absolute zero-gravity peace of having no consumer debt. By rejecting the illusion of ownership and sacrificing temporary applause, you build an unshakable fortress of financial independence, reclaiming your autonomy and securing a generational legacy of absolute freedom. Material status is the ultimate enemy of actual wealth. Every dollar spent on an ego-driven, depreciating liability is a direct theft from your future freedom. True status is not measured by the expensive badge on your steering wheel, but by the level of absolute autonomy you possess over your daily life. Looking rich keeps you perpetually poor, stressed, and enslaved to a paycheck, while being wealthy requires the rare courage to look completely average on the outside while you quietly accumulate assets on the inside. Audit your driveway. Objectively evaluate your current vehicle. If your car payment prevents you from investing heavily into your future, it is a financial anchor. Downgrade your metal to upgrade your life. If you are trapped in a terrible loan, consider selling the vehicle and downgrading to a mechanically sound 3 to 5 year old used car that you can pay for in cash or pay off rapidly. Redirect the bleeding. Take the exact amount you were losing to that massive car loan, inflated insurance and dealership maintenance, and automate it directly into a broad market index fund, like the SS500, every single month. Embrace stealth wealth. Permanently stop caring about the fleeting judgments of strangers at red lights. Reframe a paid-off, average car as a badge of financial intelligence rather than a symbol of stagnation. If you could magically wipe away your car payment today, what is the very first thing you would do with that extra money every single month? Please share your perspective in the comments section below, so we can all learn and get inspired by each other's financial goals. If you found value in this message and want to break free from the system, please hit that subscribe button to support the channel. Your subscription gives us the motivation to keep creating more life-changing content for you.